Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Module 2 within this first section. Today, we're going to be discussing the business model. What is this all about? What is social media marketing all about? And where has the market just gone completely astray? Where have people completely just misunderstood what digital marketing, what social media marketing is actually about? And we're going to go over the right way to run a marketing agency, a digital marketing agency, a social media marketing agency, a creative agency, anything within that realm. So let's jump onto the computer. As you can see right here, guys, the business model. Let's get into it. When you're running a marketing agency, you are business to business. Now, business to business, to give you a few examples, we've got people like accountants, right? So I have an accountant. I have a pretty good accountant, pretty overpriced accountant, but hey ho, he's worth the money. And my accountant, right? They're giving me a service. They're a business giving me another business a service, right? And that service is accounting. Then we've got payment processors. You know, you go to any store and they have a payment processor, and you know that is run by a business to business. That's a business to business sort of agreement and relationship. You know, there is a payment processor within that place. Someone, say for example, like PayPal, Stripe, right? And they're working the business to business sector. We've got someone like a lawyer, right? The law industry, a law firm, right? That is, they are consulting for the most part, usually other businesses, if you're, say, corporate lawyers. Then we've got someone like a web design agency. Once again, that is business to business. Now, what do all of these people have in common? First of all, they have knowledge that clients don't. My accountant, the reason I pay him more than I probably should is because taxes scare me, and I don't want a single thing to do with taxes, and I want my taxes and my books to be squeaky clean. Okay, so I'm gonna just let him handle it, right? And I'm cool with that. Web design agency, you know, one of my first mentors, he owns a huge web design agency. I don't know shit about web design, right? So when I wanted my website designed, I went to him. Okay, they have knowledge that their clients don't. They have a rigid protocol and a rigid procedure that they go through. When I went to my accountant, they went, okay, you want to come on board, right? So we're gonna actually have an accountant who manages two businesses under another company holding, but that's a story for another day. Anyways. For my online businesses, he goes, okay, this is the protocol with the VAT, with the taxes. He had a protocol, right? I felt as though I was taken care of, and I didn't go, hey, I'd like things to be done this way. He goes, okay, you need to sort this out with the bank, sort this out with your online payment processors, sort this out with your merchant account, sort this out, and this is our protocol. This is how we do things, okay? What else do they have in common? The ability to scale and duplicate, right? So if you go look at someone like a web design agency, you know, my mentor, he's duplicated himself in the form of employees. If you go look at, you know, someone like an accountant, they've got, you know, cheap employees, you know, who have accounting degrees, but you know, they're cheap, straight out of university, stuff like that. So they have the ability to duplicate themselves. And this is something that, you know, I'm going to be talking about later on in the course, is actually, you know, being able to duplicate yourself without having employees. I have 0 employees, guys. I don't have anyone payrolled. That said, I have people who I pay on a monthly basis, but I can cut that tie any single time I want. For me, with my agency, it is super important. It is super important that I could leave anytime I want, that I don't have scary overheads, that I'm not tied. Right? For some of you guys, you will want that whole agency lifestyle where you're walking into employees, or say you do everything digitally, but you have a team around the globe, blah blah. I have a team, but you know they're not payrolled. As I said, I pay them a monthly wage, but they can get cut anytime they want, like anytime I need them to. Right? If I don't need their services anymore, that's completely fine. Right? They're pretty much more as freelancers, but freelancers that I exclusively work with and that pretty much exclusively work through me, because my business, I bring them a lot of money from me personally, and then I bring them other business to ensure that they just stay with me. So to me, that's super important. You know, this is something you can think about. Everyone's a bit different. For me, I don't really like overhead. I don't like to the you know, having an office and stuff like that. My home is my office, and I love this office. And Marbella is my office, and Bali is my office, and LA is my office. Wherever I go is my office, right? I don't like to be tied down to a certain place. That might be a bit different for you guys, but let's jump back. The main takeaway from all this is these people, though, they do scale. They have the ability to scale and duplicate. And this is something we'll be talking about later on in the courses. You know, the way I was going before, the trajectory I was going was a place where I wasn't able to scale or duplicate myself. I had to do everything myself, and there was such limited space for scale. Now at this point, I have systems in place, and I'll show you exactly how to do the same, where I can scale it and I can duplicate. Where do people go wrong? First of all, they think they now work for their clients. There's this weird conception that, you know, when you sign on a marketing agency client, you now, you know, you owe them the world. You now work for them. You take their calls 24/7. It's like you guys are pals, best friends, blah blah. Guys, I don't call my accountant on a weekly. Like that's not a thing that happens, because they have systems in place, and I'll be honest, I do what they say, because they've put their systems in place. You know, and that makes their life so much easier, because they're not getting worried complaints or calls from me every single month, right? Asking me like, with me asking like, hey, like, what do I do now? What's the procedure? What's the plan? Because they got their shit sorted out. Okay. People think that they should adopt their client's systems. No, your client adopts your system, and you build a system. And I'm going to show you exactly the systems that I've created, to the point where, you know, pretty much everything's automated in my social media marketing agency. Okay, they think that more time equals more value, and guys, this is something that I'm going to talk about for a while. So many people think that the more time they put in, the more value comes of it, and this is a big lesson I learned from Sam Ovens. You know, I'm in his consulting course. It's an amazing course, and he's such a clever guy, right? And the analogy he uses is, look, when when my tooth hurts and I go to the dentist says, look, Iman, you know, this is going to cost you, to fix this aching pain you have, it's going to cost you $1,000, and it's going to take me 2 minutes. And I go, this is going to take you 2 minutes, and it's going to cost me $1,000? Are you crazy? No. And he goes, whoa. I mean, I could take 5 hours if that would make you feel more comfortable, but I'm going to get you the same result, right? And to me, that puts things in perspective. When you guys are going to your clients and you're pitching clients by going, hey, like, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to work on your business X amount a month. I'm going to spend this amount of time per month. When they don't care about that, they just want the result. And you do not sell based on time. You sell based on value, right? Because here's the thing. You're actually going to pay someone. I'd actually pay my doctor $1,000 to fix it in 2 minutes, rather than paying him, say, like $800 to fix it in 5 hours. I'd actually pay more for him to do it quicker, to give me that result quicker. And also, when my dentist does it, or when my accountant does my books, I don't question how he's doing it. I don't tell him, hey, I want you to spend 10 hours, right? Because I don't tell my accountant, hey, because I'm paying you so much, I want you to spend X amount of time. I just tell my accountant, my books should be squeaky clean. I should know exactly how much money I pay in corporate tax and personal income tax and VAT, all these different taxes and all this different legislation. I just want to know that. I just want my result. I don't care I don't care what software he uses. I don't care if he spends a minute a month or 10 hours a month. I really couldn't care less. I just want the result. And that's the biggest lesson you need to learn. And this is a mentality and a mindset shift that you need going into this process in the next couple of weeks, right? Value-based quotes, value-based retainers, it's all value-based, okay? And what's your value worth? This is stuff we're going to go much deeper into further down further down the line in this course. So they don't think of scale. Big lesson here. You need to think of scale from the beginning. Look, guys, one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first started was I didn't think of scale. I thought of something that could, the money was in front of me at that point, which is, when I first started, it was mainly content creation and social media management. So I would create content for companies, make their brand really cool, and then manage the social media. But I didn't think in terms of scale. I didn't think in terms of what's the lifetime value of a customer, right? I didn't think in terms of ROI. I didn't think in terms of how much of me is there. Can I duplicate myself? For the same price that I'm charging this person, could I go into a different niche or offer a different service that takes 1/50th of the amount of time, but I can still charge the same amount because I'm providing the same amount of value? None of these thoughts ran through my head. Okay? And the next one is they don't figure out how to duplicate themselves quickly enough. As I said, I first started in January, and it was only in May that I had my first sort of person that worked for me, right? And this person, I actually hired someone. If you guys know a guy called Ryan Cowell, or you've been following me long enough, I flew in a content creator from America with a $48,000 a year base salary to work with me, right? Because I thought, look, if I could duplicate myself and say, at that time I was making $10,000 a month, if I could duplicate this person, I could probably make $20,000 a month, right? Profit. That was my thinking, and that did not work out well for me. And this is stuff we'll discuss going further down the line. Okay, understood. But from the get-go, you need to think about whatever service you're offering. How can you duplicate yourself, right? How can you outsource, insource, right? And we'll talk about that. The way I like to do things and the way I'm going to teach you how to do things. I'm going to expose you to other ways of doing things, but the way I like to do things is I outsource it, but it's still insourced to me. I work exclusively with this person, but I can cut ties at any time. So to me, it's like insourcing it because I trust this person. This person is like, they work for me basically, right? But at a very, very competitive rate. But it's still outsourcing the stuff. Understood? All right, let's jump back onto the computer. They never bother to streamline their social media marketing agency. They never bother. Okay, they never think in terms of, hey, if I need to schedule a meeting with a client, how can I put a streamlined system in place? Hey, if I need to onboard a client, can I put a system in place for that? Hey, if I need to invoice a client, can I put a system in place for that? Hey, if I need to go out and get clients, can I put a system in place for that? Everything is just wishy-washy all over the place. There's no system, there's no structure, and guys, systems are scalable, and I'm gonna be showing you. Guys, if you go to the documents section of this course where I'm going to be giving you guys my email templates, my sales scripts, all of the internal documents for IAG Media, right? 4 pillars of value, partner program, literally everything, all the internal documents. That alone is worth $3,000-$4,000 easily. To have those systems in place, first of all, brings you to a higher caliber of a marketing agency. Because if I go to my accountant and I go, dude, how do we do things? And he goes, I'll email you and like maybe we can have another meeting or something, and like we could send over like your books so far. Do you maybe you have an Excel sheet or something like that? I would tell him, this is my money. I'm very protective over my money. I'm very protective over the thing that feeds my mom, like takes care of my family, pays for all of the stuff I have, takes my business forward to the millions. I'm very protective over that. How do you think someone's protective over their business? Okay, so when you don't think in terms of systems and you go into someone's business, to me is someone's baby, right? That's literally someone's child. They've worked so hard for that. When you go into someone's office or their workplace, and you go in there with no systems, to me that is the most disrespectful thing you can do, and you will never get a client. And no one's talked about, guys, one thing you need to understand is I do a lot of a lot of market research, whether that be for my clients, whether that be for my own industry. I've taken pretty much every single social media marketing course there is out there, and for me, every single one of them has done wrong. Every single one of them has done something great in one sense, and there's a bunch of great ones out there, but there are so many that have left you so dazed and confused, it's scary to me, right? So we're gonna go ahead and make things right with this course, and one of those things is systems from the get-go, okay? And that's all about streamlining your social media marketing agency. And as I said, this is what's gonna take you into that 6-figure mark. They don't know the difference between opportunity versus convenience. Guys, there is a huge opportunity between an improvement offer and or a convenience offer and an opportunity offer. I actually took this from Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson says improvement and opportunity and improvement offer. I like to say opportunity and convenience offer. There's a big difference between offering convenience services and opportunity services. There's a huge difference between that, and that's something we're going to be going over in a module pretty shortly after this, but most people don't think of this stuff. So your goal should be less time, more results. Doesn't matter if it takes you 2 minutes and you're charging the person $2,000. There are clients where I literally work maybe 10 minutes a month on them and I get paid $1,500, $2,000 because I actually went ahead and I did the work the month before, or I had already done the work with a different client and I just duplicated the results. Which brings me on to point 2, replicable results. This is huge, okay? Next, work on the business, not in it, okay? So at this point, there's very little stuff in my business that I actually do. Most of the stuff is working on the business, not in it. To give you a couple examples, the graphic design takes a lot of work. I have a graphic designer. Do you really think I'm gonna go ahead and post on Instagram for my clients? Do you really think I'm gonna do that? No, but for some reason, people think it's worth their time. I have someone who does that. I have someone who works at Times Magazine. He actually does all of my copywriting, all of it, right? All of the social media copywriting for my clients, not the sales copywriting. And he distributes all the content for my clients all over the platforms. And he's been doing this for maybe since month 4 or something of my agency, or month 5 of my agency. Okay, so that means I can work on the business, not in it. And sales, another huge thing. I have a sales guy. I will not pick up the phone and do that on my own, right? I have a sales guy who works off of a success fee, and we will talk about that later on in the course. Okay, keep overhead low. Your goal is to keep overhead low. You want to be taking home 80+% profit. Okay, and seriously, like, keep your overhead low, because guys, the way I work, or the way my philosophy is, this is a business. We're not playing games here, especially when you're working in the business to business sector, right? You need to keep your overhead low, and you want to take home as much profit as possible until maybe you decide to take the leap and go, hey, you know what? I'm going to open up an office and maybe have 2 employees or something like that. Right? But until that point, and I've never done it and I never will do it, or I guess never say never, but I have no intention of it. So for me, my goal is just keep overhead low, right? No fancy softwares if they don't need to be there. No fancy web designers if I don't need a web designer. No fancy, whatever it may be. Just keep things simple. Keep overhead low. And streamline every single aspect, because systems are scalable, and I will continue to say that till the day I die, guys. I really cannot stress it enough. So let me tell you guys about my business model, and then this might come across as a bit weird. So we've got the little fish over here, and we've got a whale over here. So let me tell you guys what I mean about this. So guys, I actually took this, that whale concept from a guy called Jeremy Haynes. He actually has a marketing course, digital marketing manuscript, DMM. I'm in it. I've taken it. One of the better courses out there, if not, in my opinion, the best marketing course out there, or for someone looking to grow their marketing agency, apart from 6-figure SMMA, obviously. But he calls, in his agency, clients that I think are $10,000 plus a month in retainer, whales, right? So he calls them whales, and he's looking for whales. So the way my business is split up is, at this point, and my business model is, I have little fish, and then I have whales, right? And I have little fish, and those little fish come from my sales guy. They come from my sales guy, and they are managed by my Kieran, who does all of my copywriting, my distribution, and my graphic designer, and all of that, right? And these are easy ROI clients. I'm talking like they come in through my sales guy, they get put through my system, and like it's mind-boggling how easy it is to get results for them, right? I'm talking restaurants, I'm talking gyms. I actually don't do restaurants, I do gyms. Super easy. I understand the niche, I understand the market. It's not that hard to get results for them. Okay, so these are easy ROI clients. These clients I charge obviously I work in pounds out here in London. I charge £1,000 to maybe £1,500 excluding ad cost, right? So these are still businesses that make enough money to afford a service like that, but these are little fish. Then I have whales, right? And whales are the ones, for example, like Athlete. You know, they were paying me 1 month was 5,800 with some extra charges on top. That's 5,600 pounds, or I think it was 5,700. We'll talk about it later on in the course. I think that comes out to roughly $7,500. That's not Jeremy's whale, but Jeremy has a team of 17 people. I have a team of me, myself, and I. Obviously, you know, my actual team, but you get my point, right? So to me, that's a whale. Another whale is I can't talk about my current clients because a lot of them are huge businesses that don't want other people knowing that they're outsourcing. In fact, when I was working with Athlete, I wasn't allowed to put IAG media on anything, right? He wanted everyone to think that it was in-source, which completely makes sense, right? Now that they're no longer my client, it's completely fine for me to go ahead and say that. And I have a great relationship with Sean, the owner. So whales to me are clients which are $5,000 plus. That's my version of whale. Even 3,000, like 4,000 plus, right? I'm at the time of recording this. I think I said this in the last module. I'm going to Berlin next week for a $6,000 consulting job. Right? I'm getting paid $6,000 to come in, make some funnels, you know, train their marketing team. It's a design agency in Berlin. I think they have a team of like 20 people. That's $6,000 for 12 hours work. Six hours on the first day, 6 hours on the next day. That's a whale. Okay. So I have these bigger clients. There's another one called Zebra Fuel. They were going to be my biggest client ever. They were 9,300 pounds, which I think is like $12,000. I was so close to getting it, but that didn't actually go through. But up until that point, they were roughly at that $5,000 a month mark. So they were a whale, right? And I had them for quite a few months until they got another 4 million pounds, which is like $5 million or something like that in Series A investment. So they were just way too big for me. They brought everything in source. But you get my point here, right? I've got whales, and whales are these people I do not cold call. All of these people come through, which, you know, what we're going to show you here, which is passive attention streams. We're going to show you that later on, right? It's how I managed to build a 6-figure agency without ever picking up the phone. The little fish, they come from my sales guy. My sales guy lead sources, he calls them up, sets up the meeting. I show up at the meeting, I close them, and then now they're little fish, and they go through these little fish. They can go through a little pipeline, a little, you know, they go through a little pipeline, a little just system that I've built. Whereas whales are big. They don't fit in that little pipe, that little corridor, that little system. Whales, they're a bit different, and they're the ones that I handle exclusively. And it's just like, it takes a bit more time, but they're whales, so I don't really care. Jeremy, thank you for that analogy. I actually love it. So yeah, let's hop back on the computer. Action step, guys. Remember, action steps, action steps, action steps. Brainstorm for 15 minutes. What business model do you like? What are you currently good at in digital marketing / social media marketing? So just brainstorm for 15 minutes. Have a little think. Are you, is content going to be your thing for the first few months? Are you good at Facebook ads yet? I would definitely recommend Facebook ads because, we'll jump into that in one of the next modules, about dream lifestyle equals dream agency. But are you already good at Facebook ads? If so, definitely I'd go for that. Are you good at AdWords already? Then I'd go for that. If you are someone who literally only knows about, say, social media management and content creation, I wouldn't go ahead and start offering Facebook ads if you've never done a Facebook ad, right? I would go ahead and start offering content creation with social media management. And that way you can start getting some money through the door to begin with while you learn something like, say, Facebook ads. Right? And this is delivering results for clients is a huge aspect of this course, right? And I know it's something that a lot of other courses haven't really touched on that well. And we're going to make sure we set that right here. So action step, as I said, brainstorm for 15 minutes. What business model do you like? right? What business model do you like? What do you want to go for? What sort of things do you want to offer? Also, things like, do you want to outsource? Do you want to insource? How big do you want your team to look? All these things are just things that I want you to think about. What are you currently good at within digital marketing, social media marketing, right? Have a little brainstorm. Think about, as I said, coming up to the module and service list and packages and stuff like that. What is it that you can offer from the get-go? So, guys, hope you enjoyed this module. It's a bit of a longer one, but I think this entire course there's so much to cover. It's going to be, whew, guys, I'm excited for it, honestly. So I will catch you guys in the next module.